You can't be lumpy and still be smooth. If you're lumpy, you are the least smooth person on earth.
That's going in.
Yes.
Hello and welcome to Cookie Pocket. This podcast is about film. I'm going to the Instagram to see. We're on episode 59.
Nice.
Huzzah! How's everyone doing? How is the Christmas and Kwanzaa and Hanukkah?
So it's pretty good.
Pretty darn good. I've got Peter Cushing over here on the shelf. Thank you, Mitchell.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm wondering how my family is going to take my comments on lumpiness out of context.
Fantastic. What are you doing, Christian?
Well, I am. I'm sitting in my basement.
No way.
I just came back from a movie. I'll probably talk about it in week in review.
No way.
And yeah, I'm excited to talk about some holidays. Yeah.
Pretty hype. Me as well. So, this episode is Danny Elfman. And that's it.
Very succinct.
The Nightmare Before Christmas is a stop-motion animated dark fantasy film thing. Directed by Henry Selick, based on a poem from the disturbing mind of and produced by Tim Burton. Grammar, probably not right. Under Disney's sussy, dark, and scary movie production company, Touchstone Pictures. It follows Pumpkin King Jack Skellington of Halloween Town, who discovers Christmas Town by finding convenient doors to other holiday worlds in the Burton cinematic universe, and immediately tries to integrate Christmas into the lives of his town and everyone he knows, like Christian with Star Wars. Chris Sarandon voices Jack for speaking and Danny Elfman for singing. Catherine O'Hara voices Sally, a Frankenstein-esque love interest. William Hickey voices Dr. Finkelstein, her creator, or Stein, depending on what side of Germany you come from, I guess. Glenn Shaddix as the mayor of Halloween Town. Ken Page as the antagonist, Boogeyman. Ed Ivory as Santa, and Frank Welker as the highly memorable voice of Zero, Jack's pet ghost dog. What do you guys think of the film?
Well, I really like, there I go with the wells again. I really like The Nightmare Before Christmas.
No way.
And I never, expect to like it. It's not, a holiday favorite of mine. I don't watch it often around the holidays, but whenever I watch it, it goes right by for me. I think it's really, really well paced, to the point that before I watched it this time, I was thinking, that's only, 45 minutes. It might even be 25, but no, this movie's 80 minutes. It flies right by. It's really well paced. I think the songs, for the most part, are pretty good, even if some of them aren't exactly that memorable. Sally's song is probably the one most people skip over when it comes on the soundtrack. But I really like the production design. This is when Tim Burton was kind of just getting into stop motion, and so that sort of style hadn't been wildly overexposed and overdone yet. Especially, I think the designs of things like Oogie Boogie's hideout are great and really visually pleasing, and I think the voice cast is really charismatic as well. The only one that I think you could probably do without is I don't really know why you need Chris Sarandon as a speaking cast for Jack instead of Danny Elfman, because Danny Elfman's a charismatic guy. I would guess the only reason would be so you have a big billing actor to put on the poster, but then Chris Sarandon doesn't even show up on the poster, so it's kind of an odd bit of casting. But yeah, I think it's a good movie for around the holidays. Maybe more of a Halloween movie than a Christmas themed movie, but I think it still works, and it's a good bit of fun, even if it's not one that I watch all the time around the holidays. 4 out of 5.
Solid.
Very nice. Very fair. I like this fine enough. I give it a 3 out of 5. Here I go with my ums. We all have our verbal tics, Zach. It's okay. I think maybe where this doesn't fully work for me is some of the songs are some of the songs, I should say. A lot of it is sort of speak singing, which doesn't bother me a ton in Broadway as long as there's enough singing to go with it. But I sound very pedantic, but really,
it bothers you when it's Bob Dylan.
Well, even when Bob Dylan's got this like drawl thingy, there's still like a melody. You can still hear notes in it. A lot of the time, it's literally like these characters are like at slam poetry night or something.
Or Hamilton.
Yeah, or Hamilton, which is fine. But there's like the only melodies that I can remember are "This Is Halloween" and parts of "What's This," but a lot of "What's This" is spoken too. And that to me, that's kind of a weakness when it's speak sung as much as it is in this. But it's certainly different from pretty much anything else I've seen, and it's enough of a visual treat to make it worth pretty much anyone's time. It's a pretty brisk 76 minutes. So, I think the ideal viewing time, I know there's a Halloween versus Christmas debate. Best day to watch this is November 1st, because you're still like in the afterglow of spooky season a little bit, but you're like the first day it's kind of acceptable to get hyped for Christmas. So November 1st movie. Yes. 3 out of 5.
I'm already ready to give thanks when it's November, so getting in the Thanksgiving mood. I
You
like,
can
hey
skip
bro,
that.
thank you. No, you can't. No. Underrated Peanuts production.
True.
Anyway.
Very true. Snoopy makes a lot of popcorn and toast instead of turkey. It's fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so I gave this a 4 out of 5. I am very uncomfy with Tim Burton once in a while. I don't know why, but this film just feels really like out there for me, on a personal level anyway. And I'm not really sure why. I guess it's just like there's so much weird stuff happening every second that I feel like if I was like in middle school or any younger, I feel like I would like it a lot more. Maybe it's just like I'm just a boomer. That's just like there's too much things happening. I need things to slow down for me, please. And it's kind of what happened with what's it called at the beginning of our second season. What am I thinking of? I'm in Lesbians with You. I'm stupid.
Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, Scott Pilgrim. Even the title is dumb. Just call it Scott Pilgrim. Jeez. Anyway.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're right. We've got your number.
Yeah. Get a left hook there.
But then you liked it anyway, even though you didn't want to like it. So there.
All right. Settle down, son. Calm down, son.
Settled.
Just a drawing. Okay. So yeah. I really love the animation in this, though. And it's not like I don't like the fact that it's stop motion at all. I adore that, and it's very clear they put a lot of effort into making this original world and all these original characters. Not necessarily to care about all of them, but just enough where you feel like the plot is worth investing in. Jack Skellington has obviously the most character dynamic out of all of them, but probably Oogie Boogie too would be up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I otherwise I really like the story. It's really simple, and it's not anything that it's unbelievable, because the whole thing is unbelievable to begin with. Especially coming off of our other Tim Burton film, I really feel like for Edward Scissorhands, I feel like this has a lot of the same themes that Tim Burton is known for, and I read the story about Tim Burton finding out about like what he wanted to do for expanding on the poem and trying to get like a 30-minute special or something, and Disney was like, "We're gonna give you a whole movie or something," and he's like, "I don't know about that, Chief," but yeah, I really like the story, and it fits right into Tim Burton's brain, and I think Henry Selick did a really good job of doing that. We'll talk about that though. So yeah, I gave it a 4 out of 5. Not a whole lot of complaints. The only real thing I think is just I feel like just that constant darkness and the constant Danny Elfman aggression, I feel like is just, it really bothers me, and it's just like the pace. I agree, I like the pacing a lot, but kind of keeping with that tone for the entire movie, and kind of just constantly like, even though he's in different places, Jack is in different places, it just feels like it's like, oh, in your face the entire time. And I can see why that's definitely a good thing, but it has some drawbacks to it. So I still gave it a 4 out of 5 though. So Danny Elfman wrote the songs and the score, and he also, obviously, I said he voiced Jack during the singing parts. How do you think his contribution affected the production, and do you feel like it's what makes the film most memorable? And also, what was your favorite song?
Ooh. Well, I think Danny Elfman has a huge impact on this.
Yeah.
Danny Elfman, at least in his collaborations with Tim Burton, I think has a really distinct sound. And I think he has a distinct sound in other movies as well. His theme for Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, I think, is great.
Ooh,
And a lot of other movies he did in the early 2000s when he kind of became a big name.
The Batman theme, dude.
The Batman theme is great, but that's a Tim Burton
Dang.
collaboration as well.
Right.
So I think he's gone on to make some more forgettable scores, but a lot of great composers have done that. But I think his songs in this are great for the most part. I mean, every musical has like one or two songs where it's like, this is the love interest song. It's gonna be kind of slow and boring, but we have to do this. I'm sorry. We'll do the one with Oogie Boogie later, which takes me on to I love Oogie Boogie's songs.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
I love
it.
I love Oogie Boogie as a character. I think he's just so fun to be around and so charismatic, and the movie just lights up whenever he's around. But I like how different his song sounds to everything else. It really reminds me of the stuff that Danny Elfman did when he was part of the band Oingo Boingo.
My dad just showed me that. Yep.
Yeah. Which everything in Oogie Boogie's lair feels like something from Oingo Boingo. Like a lot of it's designed kind of like their album Dead Man's Party, kind of like the album cover, and he's such a fun character to be around, and the voice actor sounds like he's having so much fun. I mean, I think the voice acting in this movie is really good, like I said previously, but a lot of the voices are sort of like regular theater voices. They're explaining what they have to say, but they don't have a ton of inflection. But like Oogie Boogie is like everywhere. He's gonna express left and right, and it's just it's so fun. I love that whole song. I love everything that he's involved in. So yeah,
I think his lair looks like Monster Mini Golf. Go ahead, Christian.
It does.
I don't know what that means.
You're uncultured, Zach.
I think
Sorry.
Oogie Boogie is 2 shades removed from cursed Steve Harvey Zach, and I'm just not okay with that.
So survey says.
No, we didn't ask for that. No, Zach is getting canceled before I am. Go ahead, Christian.
Well, on that note, I am indifferent to Oogie Boogie, again, because most of his song is just him talking. Because he's Oogie Boogie and he's the man or something.
Because I'm the boogeyman.
Okay, I guess my favorite song would be What's This, because there's some like kinetic energy in there. It's a lot of the best songs in musicals are kind of like characters having a quiet moment, and this is a convenient excuse to have like a song here. But I like how What's This is like actively Jack is discovering the Christmas and the this and the that. So there's stuff happening relevant to the plot in a song, which can be nice. I'm not usually fixated on that, but I think it's nice in this case. And it's just the most memorable tune. And I like how the time signature changes. Like you expect the phrase to go longer than it does sometimes, but he keeps interrupting himself because of how excited he is, which is just a really clever musical device. So I guess that would be my favorite song.
Music theory. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
This is Halloween. Gosh, man. I think they use it throughout the movie. I know they use it again at the end, a little bit in the score, but I don't know, man. Like, I really love that song, and I like the cinematography they use during it, and it just feels, you really feel enveloped in the world to begin with. Like, you already feel like you know the town by the end of the song. Yeah. And I really, really like that song. It's probably like one of the best songs that nobody knows the lyrics to at all, because everyone is like Christian said, the talk singing thing is kind of and it could be an issue, but I think it adds to the characters a lot, and I feel like it really makes them alive, all of the puppets and everything.
Yeah. That opening shot of the skeleton is genuinely quite creepy, of the scarecrow that kind of spins around and points you to the town.
Yeah, I totally love that. That's easily my favorite song. I also like Oogie Boogie. His song definitely stands out. And his charisma is completely separated. He definitely feels like a villain. He feels like he's offset from the rest of everyone in Halloween Town. So yeah, I also agree. I think Danny Elfman has a huge impact on this. I think I think obviously Jack singing is the best. And I think that the score definitely works with what they're trying to go for, especially with the Tim Burton kind of themes. So Henry Selick is credited as directing and being on set the most obviously, to make the film look more like a Tim Burton film. But Tim Burton is credited with creating the original story with the juxtaposition, but he didn't want to go through the painstaking animation process. So he was actually, at least according to Selleck, he was only there for like 8 to 10 days at the most out of all 3 years of production of the movie, which is pretty insane. I was very surprised by that. So, especially because he uses Tim Burton's A Nightmare Before Christmas as a marketing tactic to appeal to the massive following that Tim Burton had accumulated from all of his live action films. So what is your opinion on the direction and also of the story?
I really like the direction. I know it's a constant back and forth debate as to like Tim Burton or Henry Selick, who's most responsible for this movie. I think that it's hard to say that Tim Burton didn't have an impact on this movie, despite the fact that he is just a producer. Because you look at other movies that he produced, like Batman Forever, and clearly that is a Joel Schumacher movie. That is not a Tim Burton movie. But like here, it has that Tim Burton look. It feels like a Tim Burton movie. The characters are designed to kind of look like his illustrations because he was an illustrator before he was a director. So he's had an impact on this production. But to me, the one who kind of carries it through and makes it feel like a real living world and brings life to those characters is Henry Selick. And I think the choices that he makes in regards to blocking and camera movement in this play a big part in selling the world and the characters. Specifically just in regard to like how they move the camera around and how they angle the camera. Before this movie, a lot of the time, if you were going to do stop motion, you were going to have just a locked off, like level shot of a room, and then a person was going to walk in and move around, and it was kind of like more like a magic trick than a way of selling an entire movie. But here they move the camera like they would in a real live action movie. There's swooping kind of crane movements, and there's canted angles, and it really makes it feel like these are real living things moving around in an environment, just moving around in a Tim Burton style movie. And I think without Henry Selick behind the camera to say, here's how we do that, you wouldn't have that kind of a movie. I mean, maybe you would have had that if Tim Burton had been there, but it sounds like he didn't want to be there the whole time, so you probably wouldn't have, because he probably would have said, just set up the camera and we'll do whatever, which might not have worked in the same way.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I tend not to notice direction as much when it's not like a live action shot on a location or shot on a CGI location, as some of my favorite movies are. But
Blue.
Yeah, green.
Are you making fun of me?
Sure.
That's a great quote.
That works. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I really feel like I have a lot less to add here than Zach does, honestly. I think in questions like Selick versus Burton, the least satisfying but most accurate is answer as well, both really. But you know, I think it's fine, and I think that the treat here is the visual stuff. That to me is why I show up, because I don't think there's like a ton of heavy characterization or plot. It's I'm not a fan of this phrase typically, but it is sort of a just vibes movie, and I think it works because it looks so nice and is well directed and designed. So you know.
Yeah, I definitely think the design and the style is the coolest thing. And I think the story totally works for trying to convey the worlds. I guess you could say it's kind of world building in a lot of ways. I mean, even though it doesn't feel like there's a lot of characterization, I feel like just the environments that they're in, the things that are randomly happening on the side, to supplement the simple story. I feel like that's why it works. It's an easily supplementable story because it's simple enough where it doesn't feel like it's detracting from the value of the movie as a whole, but it also feels like everything's driving forward all the time. It feels like all the characters are on the same kind of train, chugging around. I'm using the train again. And I really enjoy that. And I totally agree with Christian. I agree with you as well, Zach. I think that this is like an entirely just vibes movie. I feel like it's just something that you can really enjoy watching and really, you know, get the experience from. And even for the average audience member, I would say that stop motion, I mean, even if you just basically explain it to the average layman, I think they'll really be able to appreciate how much time and effort they clearly put into making these worlds and making the atmosphere and the way that it looks. And I think that's cool. But yeah, but beyond all of that surface level stuff, based on what the film was going for, I totally think it did exactly what it was supposed to. And I definitely don't think it's trying to be anything super important or one of Tim Burton's hallmark movies when it comes to stories. So, but yeah, I really like the direction. I think it totally works, and I think just conveying what Burton would have wanted out of his story. I feel like it's just there's really not much else you could have done better based on the original poem. I think the original poem had like 3 characters in it, so they made like every other character in the movie, or for the movie rather. So roughly 109,000 frames were created, and 20 sound stages and 227 puppets were used for filming. Atmosphere, lighting, and color contrast were priorities during production, benefiting greatly from the expressionistic and arguably revolutionary take on stop motion. Disney looked forward to Burton's story coming to fruition because they saw how well Who Framed Roger Rabbit became successful. So how essential is the animation to the experience?
Totally and completely essential.
It is the experience.
Yeah. Wow. That was. Thank you for that softball. Oh, by the way, we totally our guest when we did the Roger Rabbit episode totally spoke physical 4K release of Roger Rabbit into existence.
He texted me about that afterward.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I was at Best Buy the other day and I saw it and I was like, huh, what about that?
Like the next week, he was like, Zach, you won't believe it. Yeah.
We have special powers here, listener. I don't want to get.
It's weird. We talk about it at least like every week or 2 weeks, and then sometimes like days in a row we'll have the exact same stuff. We'll watch a movie, actor dies the next day.
Yeah.
Sometimes we accidentally kill the drummer of the Rolling Stones. You know. Sorry, Charlie.
Yeah,
we just got we got something special here.
We do,
boys and girls. I don't know. Anyway.
I like the animation, guys. I like how
the
little fingers move, and the attention to detail is really sublime. And as I don't want to say like as an artist, but as someone who like enjoys playing around with music and film just for fun, I guess. When I'm making stuff, I'm always like, how can I do this the fastest way? Not because I want to do like a slapdash thing, but because it just gives me more time to do more stuff in general. So stop motion as a medium, I have an immense, deep respect for, because it takes hours and hours and hours for seconds and seconds and seconds of these frames and visuals. So it's so meticulous, and it really can't be overstated how much effort and thought goes into it.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I think the animation is kind of the whole appeal. Specifically, I think those character designs. I think, a lot of these Tim Burton stop-motion animated movies have found appeal with younger people, whether it be Corpse Bride, The Nightmare Before Christmas, Coraline. And I think that's kind of because of the sort of oddball designs of the characters and the kind of visual quirks that they have, where they're sort of strange-looking, but they're also very appealing because of those flaws. And I think a lot of people kind of see parts of themselves in those characters, and kind of their insecurities and the way they move and the way they interact with other people. There's sort of like a shyness mixed with flamboyance to a lot of like character movements and the way they interact in their settings, and I think that's something that really appeals to teenagers. So yeah, I think kind of the animation is the whole experience and the whole appeal of it.
Especially in the 90s.
Yeah.
These kids are weird.
Yeah, grunge is big,
Yeah.
Gungans eventually get really big.
Nope. No, they don't. No. Anyway, so
debatable.
German Expressionism. I like German Expressionism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Say that. Feels very gothic, and it's really the weird, quintessential weird. And even looking back on it, there's not a whole lot of films that really do that anymore. They really have that kind of style that I can think of anyway. I know Zach watches something every day, so freaking film kid.
Yeah.
Annoying.
I mean,
Yeah,
Tim Burton has
nerd.
kind of stuck with that expressionist style, but it's sort of like collapsed in on itself, and he's sort of gotten into trouble for saying that black people don't really fit into that aesthetic. So it's like,
Yikes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Nosferatu could have been
Moving on.
given some diversity.
I'm bringing the broom
I
in.
don't. Yeah. So I think the coloring and the contrast between the real world and the Christmas world, which is obviously inspired from the Grinch and Halloween Town, and I just think all of that, the fog that they introduce when they do the Rudolph reference, and all of that works great. They even do the little fuzzy thing I was talking about when we did Casablanca with the freaking when Sally and Jack were talking, they like do it on her face. I was like, oh my god, that looks really cool.
Oh yeah.
Big nostalgia right there.
Yeah.
And I think that's just, it adds on to the appeal of the whole world, and it makes it really, really immersive, even though it's completely unfamiliar, and they make it's tangibly like the most unrelatable world ever. So it's just, I think it totally works, and I think anybody, even if you're creeped out, is going to be invested, and I think that's one of Tim Burton's hallmark things. So
yeah, and I think there are a couple shots and a couple elements that actually are not stop motion. They're live action, and then they were kind of spliced into a shot or cut between two shots. Yeah. Like there's one shot of Oogie Boogie's bugs falling into the pit. Yep. And like that's live action, but I think it still fits with the aesthetic, and you're so involved in the animation that I think it doesn't distract. The fog is like a live action element that's been added to the world, but it fits because they've concentrated so much on the feel of this animated world.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. All right. My last question. Is it a Christmas movie or a Halloween movie?
Oh no.
It's both. I mean,
Thanksgiving movie.
I don't know. Do you place more weight on where you start or where you end? I guess I don't know. I mean, it's Halloween Town. All of our principal characters are steeped in Halloween, except for Santa Claus himself. So I mean, I'm on winter break. I don't have to answer English questions right now.
This is extra credit points. Come on.
Okay, fine. If it's for extra credit. The title has Christmas in it, so my final selection is Christmas.
That's probably gonna get like a 3 out of 5 points from Miss Stackhouse. Oh
jeez.
I'm gonna kind of pull a cop out here and say that I think it kind of depends on what kind of a viewer you are. If you're somebody who's not really a fan of being creeped out and not really a fan of horror movies, I think this is probably more of a Halloween movie for you, because it is, like Christian pointed out, Halloween is so central to the plot and to the world of the characters. But if you're somebody where Halloween Town kind of just looks like a walk in the park, then I think that this perfectly applies to being a Christmas movie, because it's nice to see a film where Christmas is almost addressed from a perspective that's like similar to your own. And obviously that's a little hyperbolic. The perspective in the film that is a little hyperbolic. But I think if you're somebody who's not really fazed by things that are traditionally creepy in this movie, or doesn't necessarily find its style all that off-putting or weird, then I think it works just fine for a Christmas movie. There's some people, like my mother, for instance, who think that Tim Burton is just weird. He's a weirdo. And therefore this doesn't make a good Christmas movie because it's just too weird. But if you're somebody who likes that kind of a thing, then I think it's perfectly fine as a Christmas movie. Maybe even more than a Halloween movie.
That's quite funny.
I'm going to aim for this.
Out of Christmas. Tim Burton's expecting
DJ Christian's remix of Christmas. Christmas.
Anyways,
Bye.
I've been watching a lot of Limp Bizkit recently, and I'm very happy about that.
Oh dear.
So today we're gonna talk about the Christmas. It's a Christmas movie. Yeah, it's a Christmas movie because the standard being challenged, the status quo, if you will, being challenged, is the Christmas ideal. And the values associated with Christmas are being challenged by the ideals associated with Halloween to a lot of people. And Tim Burton's insane brain. So
insane in
he
the
thinks insane in the brain. And he is trying to say that even he's trying to show that Jack tries to make these, he tries to take Christmas to the real world, and because the real world rejects him for who he is, he takes what is most beautiful about the real world and brings it into his own.
Aw.
And that is Christmas.
Aw.
And and Santa does a character 180 and suddenly feels like Santa again and says Happy Halloween, and then Jack says Merry Christmas. And then it snows. And the movie ends with it snowing in Halloween Town. So Halloween Town was influenced by Christmas. Everyone in the real world got Christmas.
Huzzah.
So it's a Christmas movie. So,
Lovely.
yeah. Win. Anyway, week in review, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. We can review.
I sure diddly do know what you're saying.
Okay.
Well, I've watched a lot of things over the past week since we did our last recording, but
No way.
for the sake of keeping it holiday themed, because this is a holiday special, I'm going to talk about one I watched a couple days ago. I did watch Tarkovsky's The Sacrifice, though. If you want to know my thoughts on that, check out my Letterboxd. But I'm going to talk about The Family Man, starring Nicolas Cage and directed by Brett Ratner. Now, for a lot of film buffs, the name Brett Ratner is enough to send you running screaming, but this is a pretty good movie from him. He's kind of known as a director for hire, but in this movie his direction is very warm. It's very kind of heartfelt, and it really works with the story. Nicolas Cage essentially plays this wealthy investment banker who had the chance to stay with his college sweetheart, but in like his senior year, he went for like a year-long internship in England and left her behind. And then he came back to a life of success, and he's extremely wealthy, and he has everything he wants, but he doesn't have her, and he doesn't have a family. And one night, he foils a robbery, and the next morning he wakes up, and he's in bed next to this woman that he left years and years before, and they have a family, and his life is entirely changed. And the movie is sort of like a reverse It's a Wonderful Life, where he has to sort of live through this glimpse of what his life could have been, and I guess evaluate sort of what he thinks, what he'd rather his life be. Would he rather this life with the family he never had, or would he rather his life as a billionaire where he says he has everything he could have ever wanted, but does he really? And I think it's a really affecting movie. I'm typically not a huge like family film person, but it does really warm the cockles of your heart, and kind of it kind of brings to light, I guess, or reminds you of kind of the joys of family that a lot of people forget about, the regular everyday joys of like picking up your kids from school, dropping them off at school, just interacting with your daughter around the house every day, things that people think about maybe being in their future, or maybe don't think about being in their future, and they think, oh, but what if it wasn't my future? I think it's a movie that its effect on you will very much vary depending upon your thoughts on family or the lack thereof. But I found it to be really effective, and I loved Nicolas Cage in it. He's one of my favorite actors, and I think he's really, really good in this. He's relatively restrained. He has a couple moments where he has an appropriate sort of freak out at the fact that his life has changed so drastically, and that's fun. But for the most part, this is sort of a big movie star era Nicolas Cage film where he really works in it. And Téa Leoni is also great in it as well. So The Family Man, 3 out of 5. I recommend it.
Added to my watch list with
I saw that, yes.
some marginal discomfort now that I'm looking at Brett Ratner, and the first two things I noticed are that he directed The Last Stand and Movie 43, or a segment of Movie 43.
Yeah, I don't like Brett Ratner, and this is a good movie from him. It's probably his best movie that I've seen.
Alrighty, well, I'll give it a try. I'll give it my fair and honest try. I too have been watching, I think, a movie a day since I've been on break from school. Some things I've watched recently. We talked about Spider-Man. Hawkeye was actually pretty solid, I thought. Of the Marvel Disney Plus series, it's the one I've gelled with the most, and I'm most comfortable saying I liked without putting a million asterisks next to it. It's still not perfect, but at least it's fun. I don't know if I talked about Leon in the other episode, but that was great.
I don't think you did, no.
I've watched a couple of Kurosawas, which are great. They're always great. Home Sweet Home Alone, which as far as Home Alone sequels go, is not terrible. really is not. It's it's a home. It sure is a Home Alone sequel, and but most recently in theaters I saw Licorice Pizza, Paul Thomas Anderson's newest film, starring Alana Haim and Cooper Hoffman, and I found it immensely charming. And I think I've only seen 2 of PTA's films to this point, Punch Drunk Love and this, and I just really like the way he examines relationships, and I don't mean in the romantic context necessarily, certainly not exclusively. I just mean 2 people of any sort, and the way he sort of explores how we change around each other and how we can force each other to grow or hold each other back, and how we can sort of grow apart and grow back together. I just think he's got a very tremendously non-binary approach to human relationships and morality in those contexts, and just is very good at capturing life in motion and how people grow and how people stagnate, and his resolutions to those things are immensely effective, I think. So I think our leads here are great. I hope they do a lot more acting. We get small parts from Bradley Cooper and Benny Safdie that are tremendous, and I gave it a 5 out of 5 because it totally grabbed me and held me, and it has an absolutely sick Let Me Roll It needle drop by Paul McCartney and Wings, and it just my gosh, it just clicks so hard.
That's like my favorite song off that album.
Yeah, it's tremendous, among some other good songs. So if you have even the slightest inclination, I would recommend you give this a try and approach it with an open mind, and think about it broadly, and I think you'll get something out of it.
I love when it clicks hard. I'm glad.
Don't like that. Don't like that at all.
What have I been watching?
Someone
Not
get me a Jonah
lot.
Hill gif.
Yeah.
Jif is peanut butter, Zach. So I don't know if we can make this into like a pseudo bit where Mitchell doesn't know what to review for Week in Review. So I'm just gonna go through my YouTube history. Epic Rap Battles of History released the 3 Johns.
You already did Epic Rap Battles of History before on this.
Wait,
No
did he
way.
really?
I feel like you have.
I definitely haven't.
Wait, what were the 3 Johns?
It was John Wick, John Rambo, and John McClane. It was actually really
that's
good.
actually
Wow.
a solid concept. I'll have to give that a
Yeah,
try.
and then I started watching John Wick clips because I haven't watched any of the John Wick movies, which is pretty insane. I'm actually
you'll
like
like
the
'em.
only person on earth.
You'll like
I
'em.
know.
You'll like at least the first one.
Yeah. I watched The Wellerman by Alina Gingertail probably like 12 times. I love that song so much. And that's all I have to say about that. I watched Caesar Milan. I don't know if y'all know that guy.
This is so chaotic.
He helps aggressive dogs.
He's
I
the
watched
dog
more
whisperer,
Andrew-
isn't he?
Yeah, he's a dog
Yeah,
whisperer.
he had a
right?
show on like TLC for a while, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just goes up to like pit bulls that are getting really mad, and then he like hugs them, and he's like, "See, pit bulls are cool." Andrew Garfield. I watched like a million videos on that guy for some reason.
Huh, I wonder why.
I watched Arkham City, the voice cast, because I wanted to hear Mark Hamill be Joker again.
Yes.
Somebody CGI'd Mario, so he was saying like, "What if I am the bad guy" or something, in Chris Pratt's voice. I'm almost done.
You're almost.
I watched Quentin Tarantino slap a cameraman.
Oh dear.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, that. Well, I don't think he's. Is it the video in the snow where he's coming out of like the Super 8 or
Yeah.
something like that? Yeah.
At a
What do you
Starbucks.
put that down? Put that down. Why
Yeah.
didn't you just talk to me? Put it down. Yeah.
Yeah. The Dean Martin's Christmas Show, 1968.
Oh, that's fun.
Cookie Pocket. This podcast is about film. Episode 58, Scrooge, 1951.
no.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Somebody talking in a Baltimore accent.
Boy, howdy.
Deep in downtown Baltimore.
And I think this is from SNL. It's Kim Kardashian saying, "Ooh, this is so cringe, guilty," and then she hits a gavel.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
Ned Leeds as Doc Ock. All right, I'm done.
Okay, that's you.
I recognized yesterday that Ned's girlfriend in Far From Home is Betty Brant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That totally went over my head.
Dude, thank you for reminding me, Zach. I meant to say the greatest weakness of No Way Home: not enough Betty Brant. There's like
okay.
10 seconds.
She's Anjali Rice is definitely better in The Nice Guys than she is in the
Yes.
Spider-Man movies, and we all knew who the best Betty Brant was.
Got me there.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say was that Ned didn't become the Hobgoblin, which is like
No,
a big
that's-
internet theory thing where
yeah.
people were like, Ned's going to be the Hobgoblin.
That would have been really forced. There just wasn't any space for anything like that.
I can't imagine this version of Ned as any kind of a villain.
Who knows?
I also watched Chris Rock from Bring the Pain in 1996.
Oh,
We are so far off the rails. We're in the Gulf of Mexico right now.
Oh, and then Monster House. I watched Monster House clips
Made
too.
by the producers of the Polar Express. So let's chug a chew back to the rails.
All right, Zach.
Oh,
That was my
let's
weekend
see.
review.
The most recent thing in my watch history is accidentally
you.
clicking on Untitled Number 1 by Synopsis Productions and then quickly pausing it because I didn't know to actually play it.
Thank you, Christian.
I'll get to it.
Your review means a lot to us here at City Mist
I'm
Productions.
sure it'll be great when I actually watch it someday.
Well, the final shot is okay.
Okay, well,
We got a rundown right now.
you gotta
Yes,
run.
for those
out
not
there.
aware,
Survey says.
survey says it's time to move this
Said it
thing
again.
on.
I said it again. All right.
Double canceled today. Yeah, okay, this is called the rundown. I'm sure you all know what this is by now. We're gonna quiz
Better.
Zach, and he's gonna give us a number. Oh, this might be the last one we do with Zach for quite a while. We've had some
Oh,
internal
yeah.
discussions about reforming this segment. So
Yes, I'm going on my own solo career.
yes, we'll
Expect Zach Garrigus Plastic Ono Band this June.
Run.
see. I was gonna say Zach
And
Garrigus and
on the
Wings,
run.
but Zach Garrigus and Plastic Ono Band is a lot more conceivable.
Oh my God.
Take what you will from that. I'm not sure if that's a good or a
yeah.
bad thing.
I'm going to scream into a mic for 20 minutes.
Yes. Well, Mitchell, are you ready to quiz our guy one last time?
As I'll ever be, man.
That was good. I do not condone that at all. 3,
Boogie boogie.
2, 1, go.
Patrick Stewart narration.
3 out of 5.
Bone Daddy,
4 out of 5.
This is Halloween.
4 out of 5.
an elected official who can't make decisions by himself.
3 out of 5.
Zero the dog.
3 out of 5.
Zach Garrigus as Jack Skellington.
Oh, 5 out of 5. Bone Daddy.
Oh no.
Bunny.
3 out of 5.
Locke,
3 out of 5.
Shock.
2 out of 5.
Barrel,
2 out of 5.
Taking over a culture you don't understand and can't relate to.
3 out of 5.
Speak Singing,
4 out of 5.
Rat Hat.
3 out of 5.
mobilizing the military against Santa.
3 out of 5.
The National Guard having something cool to do.
3 out of 5.
Santa abuse.
3 out of 5.
Christian Maric is Santa Claus.
4 out of 5.
Rip, sounding the alarm.
3 out of 5.
Asking what this is.
3 out of 5.
Halloween town politics.
2 out of 5.
A guy in Kentucky thinking one is unlucky.
3 out of 5.
3 seconds, Zach Style.
4 out of 5.
Right under the wire. Amazing. A second
Wow.
to go. And we got through them all.
I was
And not a
immensely
second
complimented twice in that rundown. That doesn't happen often.
Enjoy
Well,
it.
this is a really disturbing movie, Zach. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We're feeling sentimental today, apparently.
Yeah.
It's what it's
here
Christmas
I am.
spirit. Ugh.
Here I am again, ending an era.
Yeah. How
I
about
don't know
that?
why. I've been pinned with this responsibility again during my Christmas/holiday break. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Bah humbug.
Ridiculous. Bah humbug these nuts, Zachary.
Oh no.
It has been the specialist of holiday specials out of all the specials.
Sure
I'll
has
agree
been
with that.
special.
You couldn't,
It's
you
real
couldn't put
special.
this one on Disney Plus. Nope, wouldn't work.
No, this one would be censored on Disney Plus.
100%. They would put a little warning in the beginning and everything.
They're making my hair longer. They're putting up a sensitivity warning.
It's total seasonal depression.
But I mean, at least reviewable in 4K. So I mean, that's
Yeah, yeah.
something.
Yeah.
They're
I
putting
love to
Mitchell in a
listen-
pizza box instead of a dryer.
Pizza time. Aunt May dies. So,
No!
yeah, thank you.
No!
So, it has been great, boyos. Here's to a new year of pockets in cookies. Huzzah.
With
Happy
great power
holidays,
comes
guys.
great responsibility.
We will get back to you as soon as we quickly possibly can before Zach can put up another lighting test on YouTube.
Get back.
No.
No.
Nobody's
Get
getting
back.
back.
Police are here and unplugging your amplifiers.
All right, I'm just going to end this now.
We've been
Bye,
dancing
guys.
on the roofs again.
Happy holidays. We will cookie your pockets soon enough.
All right.
Au revoir.
Bye-bye.